Hi, welcome to Woo Wednesdays. I'm your hostess with the mostess, MoJo Medium. We do this every week on some day of the week. I can't remember which one. Now then, let's jump right into what we're doing today. I am MoJo Medium. I'm a psychic medium, and I'm a lot of other things as well. And right now I am leading the next generation of spiritual leaders to help raise humanity up into the new paradigm of the divine feminine. And that's actually one of our topics today. So, what we're going to start with is a good news only fortune telling card. And then we're going to talk about many leaders as one, worthiness, and the divine feminine, as if I don't beat that dead horse all the time. And then stick around. We're going to have a little bit more at the end. We'll do some more cards and a little something special. So let's jump right in with our good news only fortune telling cards. These are my cards that I was inspired to create many years ago because people would say to me, they would find out I was a psychic medium and they'd say, oh no, what bad thing is coming along that I need to worry about? What do I have to prepare for? And I was just like, finally, I was like, we need some help here. So we created these divinely inspired cards to give you something good to look forward to so that you are able to find something good. Because when you look for the bad, guess what you find? And when you look for the good, guess what you find? I mean, it's pretty simple, right? Your brain's always on the lookout for danger to keep you safe and to keep you alive. And so you don't even have to worry about stuff because your brain is watching out. And that's where worry comes from. But if you want to have better thoughts, better feelings, better attitude, then you want to consciously think of good stuff. And here's what's also cool about your brain. When you anticipate something good, it actually releases dopamine, which is a feel good hormone. So that's pretty cool. All right. I'm going to pull just one card and then I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like, ooh, love, love, love. Now, if you had this deck of cards yourself, you could pull that card and go, I'll look forward to love. Okay. And see how that plays out. I like to give you a little bit more about what kind of love it's about. Years ago, a friend of mine visited with her little daughter and son. Her son was about 5 or 6. And we were sitting there talking, and all of a sudden he just ran up and threw his arms around her and had to have a hug. And she looked over his shoulder at me and she said, there is no love like little boy love. And I think that's so sweet. And I know that a lot of you can identify with that. So this card feels to me like it is from children or about children. Now, you may not have any children in your life. You may not even like children. It doesn't matter. This good news about love is regarding children. Okay. And I'm trying to think if it feels more global or individual. No, I think it's more per person. Yeah. So in the next few days to a week, look forward to love regarding children. So there we go. All right. Now then, let's get started on today's number one topic, which is many leaders as one. This has come up a couple of times in my awareness recently, and that is there is a lot of talk about, let's just say one of the political parties in our country doesn't have a strong charismatic leader. And the other thing that I heard from somebody else, a really interesting man that I met in a networking group. And I told him that I'm leading the next generation of spiritual leaders to guide humanity into the new paradigm of the divine feminine. And he said, you need a strong, charismatic leader like Jesus or Gandhi. And I was like, yeah, we don't have a Jesus or Gandhi. I said, we've got Oprah. That's about as close as we get. But here's the thing. What I've been saying all along is that in the world in general, not the politics, but in the world in general, that there are so many leaders, healers, teachers, coaches who have come forth in this time space to do this work, to be the leaders of everyone. And so even though I'm a leader to leaders, I am not the only leader to leaders. And I'm far from the only leader of of others. And so there are so many of us, and we can all be a leader in one way or another. Now, there is such a thing as self-leadership. There is such a thing as helping yourself and learning and supporting yourself in making changes and improvements. There's also leadership of one other person, or let's change it from leader to guide. Let's call it guide, because leader sounds a little bit authoritarian, if you'll pardon the association. So you can guide or teach one person, you can guide or teach 10 people, you can guide or teach hundreds of people or more, but no one person in this life, this is my own declaration, my own divine feeling about it. No one person in this time space is going to be the big one, the Jesus, the Gandhi, the Oprah, who will help us into this new paradigm. And so we will become a conglomerate of leaders. And there may be, I wouldn't say there would ever be a hierarchy, because we each bring something special and different to our work and to helping people. And so the ones who can learn from me will learn from me. The ones who can learn from you will learn from you. And this is how people are, right? So there may be other teachers or guides like me who also help to teach and guide and lead the leaders. But I don't think there's going to be just one person. And I think it's so interesting that this is like a psychic prediction. It is a feeling. It is a message that has come clearer and clearer to me in recent years. And I think it's really interesting because we're not used to that. We're not used to thinking of having a community with a group of leaders instead of just one. And so I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. I think it's really, really very cool. And as I just touch on that a little bit, stick around for a little something at the end that is about that. Okay, let's move on to the worthiness, which is our second topic today. Now, I talk about worthiness all the time. I mean, all the time, because here's how it has come down to me with the, let's see, how can I say it? With the, all of the meditation, the study that I do, all of my divine downloads, everything that has come to me has come in a way of, in terms of getting to this point about worthiness. That's where I was going with that. All right. So many years ago, I figured out that when people had lack or injury or illness in their lives, that it was due to a lack of receiving. All right. And so that made sense for a while. And of course, it's a little tricky for people to say, well, I'd receive if there was something to receive. But actually, I do have an answer for that. And that is, start receiving, be active with it instead of passive with it. And that is like, do something for yourself, give yourself a compliment, make yourself a nice dinner, take yourself out to a movie or go shopping or something. Do something for yourself, do things that are for you, and receive them and say, oh, thank you, me, I love this. Because the more that you receive, the more there is to receive. When you're in receiving mode, then that is a receiving vibe, and that is like, oh, I've received something else that feels good, I've received something else that looks good, feels good. And then that continues because the frequency of your vibration is matched to that thing. All right, so it still makes sense when I explain it like that, but it is much easier to talk about why you don't receive, which is a lack of feeling worthy. Now, this is where I get pushback on both sides. And that is, you were born worthy of love, joy, and abundance. You have value inherent in you because of your soul, that we what we call your soul, that little bit of all that is, that's part of you. So you are in every way worthy of love, joy, and abundance. You are worthy of being, doing, and having all that you want, love, and enjoy. However, if you don't feel worthy of it, being, doing, having, feeling it, then it will not show up. And it's about that same thing I was saying with receiving, and that is the vibrational frequency. And you can tell this by what's in your life that's going well, that you have, that, excuse me, that is going well and that you like. Anything that's in your life that's going well, you have found a feeling, a sense of being worthy of that. And the opposite is true as well. So you have not found your feeling or sense of worthiness of being, doing, and having the things that are lacking, or the things that are not going well, or the things that are broken. And so, and that when I say things, of course, I mean material things, but also relationships, experiences, feelings, etc. And the material things include money, and money is difficult for most of us, in all kinds of various messed up ways. But it is simply a material thing, and it is just a means of exchange that we use. And so now we've put all this meaning on top of it, right? So find that feeling of worthiness. And how do you do that? I am worthy. You just simply say that before you go to sleep at night. You turn out the light and you've put down the phone, put down the book, whatever it is, turned off the TV, whatever's going on, closing your eyes, and you say, I am worthy. And whatever that might be, you can use the words that I use. I am worthy of love, joy, and abundance, or I am worthy of being, doing, and having all that I want, love, and enjoy. And then you can be specific too, but I think I covered about don't do too many specifics, just set it up and let it go. Covered that, I think, last week. So if you want to check that out, that's good. All right. Next topic is the divine feminine. Ooh la la. Okay, I'm going to share this with you. Give me just a moment to pull the picture up, because I made a little, not a picture, like a representation of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Hold on one sec. I want to get this up and ready for you before I share the screen. Yes, I could have done that ahead of time. That would have been nice, wouldn't it? Let's see here. Here we go. I've got it. I made a kind of a line that's like a spectrum. Here we go. All right, now then, and there's a good reason for this. All right, here we go. So I'm going to go all the way out. So here we go with the divine masculine and the divine feminine. You can see that on either end where it says divine masc and divine fem. I chose the colors blue and yellow because my late husband was colorblind and he couldn't see red and green. They both look kind of muddy. And so I thought, well, maybe blue and yellow will work. And I made it into a fadey thing like this so that you can see that there's an extreme on either end, and we're all floating around here somewhere at all times. And it's very mobile. Now, you may be in your essence, one or the other, much more in the divine masculine, divine feminine, but most of the time you're going to be moving around a bit. Depends on what's going on, what you need to do. Now I've made up cry and hug, and create and destroy for the basic definitions of the blue and the yellow, because those are the extremes. Like if we had nothing but divine masculine, we'd have create and destroy, create and destroy, create and destroy. If we had nothing but the divine feminine, we'd have cry and hug, cry and hug, cry and hug. Because the divine masculine is about creation and destruction and action and brightness and loudness. And the divine feminine is about quiet and receiving and comforting and nurturing. And so those are the extremes. But like I said, we're all here somewhere in between. Now, as you may be realizing, in general, and I'm going to switch to blue and yellow because masculine and feminine make you think of men and women. And yes, most men are more in the masculine and most women are more in the feminine, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. And I'm not talking about men and women. I'm talking about people and things, for that matter, animals and earth and all that. So we know that earth is a mother, right? Mother Earth. So of course she's very blue. She's the big blue marble. All right. So we have blue and yellow. And we have been, as a species, as a planet, as a globe, we have been way over here for a long time. But this blue has been breaking through a lot, especially since the turn of the century. Before that too, but a lot. It's the blue's been breaking through. And the Overton window, which is what's in the middle of the spectrum, or the majority of whatever it is the Overton window is slowly like this, moving back, moving towards the blue, moving towards the blue. And the divine feminine is now in active labor. So of course that makes the yellow do more out of desperation. Wait, this is different. This is different. Wait, we're going to blow it up. And so that's why we are where we are. And so the idea of guiding others into the new paradigm of the divine feminine, or the blue, means that we can help one another to make it smoother. We can help one another to understand. Okay. Now, earlier I mentioned leadership and many leaders as one, and there has been a lot of criticism of one of the parties in this country, one of the political parties, having no charismatic leader. And I heard something about a congressperson, and I actually don't remember. I think it was a Democrat. He was asked by a Republican voter, what can we do? I don't like what they're doing. What are you going to do to fix it? Help us fix it, et cetera, et cetera. And he said, you've got to do it. All of you, do the protest, stand in front of your representatives in Congress, call them, bother them, tell them that what they're doing is not what you want. And that's when I said, I'm going to talk about many leaders as one, because I'm already talking about it spiritually. And here we go. Okay, so we've got this party that has, poor messaging and no clearly defined charismatic leader. Okay, how about we're all that charismatic leader? And I've come up with a clear message for the Democrats. So the Republicans campaigned on the economy, which, by the way, was fantastic before that. They campaigned on the economy and the border, or immigration. Those are their two messages. They hammered on that over and over and over. And they got people whipped up to vote for them that way. And the Democrats didn't, because the Democrats are sort of for everything. They're for everything. And so I came up with a message that is for everything, and that is save the people. And so you heard it here first. We are now going to be the Save the People Party. And we're going to save the people from the oligarchs and the kleptocrats and the robber barons and the evils of the world. We're going to bring them into the blue. Out of balance is never good. We don't want it to be too blue. We really don't. We need our yellow, but let's find some nice green area in the middle. Okay. All right. I think that, let's see, we've talked about many leaders as one. We've talked about the worthiness. And I didn't mention this about the worthiness, because I said that people have fought me on both sides of this. I've had people say, no, that's not right. I can't say that I'm worthy of that. And that's because of our conditioning. How many of you learned in church or synagogue or someplace else to say, oh Lord, we are not worthy? Okay, so that gets stuffed into your head pretty early. And then I've had a lot of people say, no, I'm worthy. I've worked through that. I've got that. I'm worthy. I know I'm worthy. And I try to tell them, but the evidence would show that you don't feel worthy. Yes, you are worthy. I know that. And you know that consciously. You're telling me you know that you're worthy, but there's still evidence that you don't feel worthy, because that thing is not in your life yet. Oh yeah, I'm worthy. It's coming. It's not here. When you feel worthy, it will be there. And I am living proof. I know I've told you a million times all the things that I've manifested by working on my worthiness. And it's very simple. It's with the I am worthy thing. So there you go. Big fat freebie. No, go out and be worthy of everything and be thrilled to death with your life. Okay. I'm going to do the 3x3 angel cards. We're doing real good on time. And I think before we do angel cards, I want to talk about the little tease that I gave you when I was talking about many leaders as one. And I said, stick around. There's something special about that. All right. So I am getting together my first group of the Courageous, Outrageous Society of Mothers. Excuse me. By the way, you don't have to have children to be a mother because it's the energy of mother. I mentioned Mother Earth earlier. It is the energy of the blue. It's the energy of the divine feminine. That is the mother. And so I want you to think about that in terms of what I'm about to say. So the Courageous, Outrageous Society of Mothers, or Cosmos, is going to be a group of the future leaders that I'm leading. Now, each individual person in the group will become a spiritual guide in her own way, in her unique way. And that's what we'll be working on. It's a group of that support and leadership and information and spirituality. And it's going to be a community of sharing and working as a group of leaders as one. But each person gets to do it in her own way. And so if you have always wanted to be a healer, a coach, a teacher, a witch, a spiritual guide, or energy worker, then I'm not going to teach you modalities, but I will help you to find your purpose made of your talents, many of which you are not aware of, I promise, plus your experience. Whatever experience you've had in your life, whether you're 25 or 65, this will inform your right now purpose. Because as your experience changes, your purpose will change, I promise. And again, I'm living proof of that. So please visit mojomedium.com and find out about the cosmos. All right. Wonderful. Now then, by the way, if you have questions or you need to contact me, you can reach me at mojomedium@gmail.com. Thank you. All right, let's go and do our 3x3. So this is 3 deep breaths. I've had to turn on the fan. I'm going to have to take off my jacket because I'm getting warm. Now, whether that's because I'm an old lady or I'm sorry, a woman of a certain age, or whether that is because when the energy gets going, things tend to heat up. Either way, I'm warm. So I hope the fan is not bothering you. I've got my professional mic on. It should be okay. Hold on a second. I'll block the mic. There we go. There. Oh, doesn't that sound nice on the mic? Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'm using my Magical Mermaids and Dolphins cards from Doreen Virtue. These are my favorites. They're about worn out. In fact, I wore out one deck and a lovely client sent me these to replace it. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths, shuffle the deck 3 times, and then I'll draw 3 cards. And this is, I'll just walk you through it. It's simple, but there's a little more to it than what I just said. All right. So I like to clasp my hands, cross my ankles so that I'm crossing the midline. That's a brain thing. And take 3 deep breaths. And while we do that, I want you to think of this idea or concept or thought or whatever you want to call it, prayer. I call on my angels and guides, as well as all those who have my best interests at heart. One more time. I call on my angels and guides, as well as all those who have my best interests at heart. Okay, we ready? Let's go. Wonderful. Now then, that reminds me, I have a brand new ebook ready for you. I don't quite have it set up yet. It is called the Super Easy Meditation Guide for People Who Can't Meditate. And it is fantastic. Now, I have just re-edited it. And I mean a heavy re-edit because I had it as a paperback. And when I would send it out as an ebook, it was just the copy of the paperback that was, that was actually printed. I made it 20 years ago and it was not good. I wasn't pleased with it. So now I've reformatted it and rewritten it, and I think it's even better. So I'm getting it ready for you. And if you want to be one of the first recipients of that, then you need to email me at mojomedium@gmail.com and I will send it to you. Okay. All right, cool. So now we're going to shuffle the deck 3 times. I want you to imbue the deck, imbue it with your vibrational frequency by thinking of your biggest question or concern right now. If you have too many, to be able to choose just one, or if you can't think of anything off the top of your head, ask the default question, what do I need to know right now? Okay, ready? Let's go. Imbue, imbue. All right, now then, I'm going to cut the deck and deal down 3 cards face down. I want you to choose 1, 2, or 3. Don't put too much thought into it, just whatever number. Oh, 1, 2, or 3. Oh, I'll take this one. So there we go. And I like to participate in this too, so I'm going to do it. All right. Again, don't put too much thought into it. Just 1, 2, or 3. Your intuition is good. All right. And I want you to know that anytime you are witness to someone else's reading of any kind, if it resonates with you, it is for you too. All right. So this is for you whenever you may see this, because it's also about whenever you get it, because you're going to get what you need when you need it. So if you chose card number 1 and card number 2 also speaks to you, you can have that one too. Okay. It's also for you. All right. If you chose card number 1, this is your card. Simplify your life. Eliminate clutter from your home and work life to balance the flow of activities. Now that's interesting that we pulled this card that says balance, because we were talking about balance between the blue and the yellow. I think that's kind of cool. So let's see about this. Simplify your life. Okay, this is a really specific instruction for you. In the next few days to a week, take a moment to write down and write pen to paper with your hand, not typing, just a few notes about what you believe, what you're in favor of, what you feel strongly about. And I don't necessarily mean about politics, but that could be one thing. It could also be your values. It's just your values about family, about experiences, about education, about work. What are your values? Sit and write that down. What do you believe? What are your values? This is the simplification. Get real clear on that, because clarity is simplified, right? Okay. If you chose card number 2, you've got stay optimistic. Your dreams are coming true. Don't quit right before the miracle occurs. Now, this is one of my favorites because it says miracle and it says the miracle occurs. And so that's like, wow, that's really cool. So I do feel like if this is your card, I do feel like you've been waiting for something. And it may not seem like a miracle to you, or it might be. It might be one of those things where you go, if it happens, oh, that's a minor miracle. Or you might go, oh my gosh, that's a huge miracle. But you have been waiting for something. And this is one of those things where it clicks. So the next few days to a week, stay optimistic, because it's going to click. It is a click. And that's interesting because it comes through really clearly like that it's not subtle. It's not like, oh, I've been planning to do XYZ on this date and I'm going to go and do it. No, it's like, I've been hoping for this. I've been working towards this and it's just not happening. And then clicks. So whether that is clicks in knowledge or it clicks because somebody offers you the job you've been going for, whatever that is, it's a click. So next few days to a week, I'm excited. And I just felt the chill of confirmation that I get with that. Very cool. All right, if you chose card number 3, explore your options. It's time to look at other possibilities and a good time to make changes. Interesting. Okay, I feel like this card is a little bit more of validation than actual direction or instruction or something. It's more like you have looked at possibilities recently and you have made some changes, and this was a good thing for you to do. So it's validation, if that makes sense. Yeah. And you will receive more validation in the coming days. So again, whenever you might see that. Very cool. That's a good one. All right. And with that, I am going to wrap it up. And I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope you'll join us again. Let me know what your questions are. You can always put comments and I'll come back and answer them. And I thank you so much for being here. See you soon. Bye-bye.